I told someone recently who didn't know me and asked what I was working on. I said, well, I'm working in the misinformation area, and the response was, on what side? I had to explain. We democratize technology. You know, I think it's the greatest thing in many ways. It's happened in certainly my lifetime, and the thing that's most important from my perspective is that you didn't need permission to do great stuff, wonderful stuff. Nor, however, do you need permission to do really terrible stuff using technology. And this is the conundrum we have. But we have to remember that, as someone said about something else earlier, this stuff isn't new. And lots of things like this have been going on. So it was predictable, and I even predicted it in a book 15 years ago, that some bad things would happen as a result of this. And then another book later on talked more about it. What I did not predict, what I did not understand, and I think I'm in fairly good company, is that hardly anyone understood is what would then happen. Would be this confluence of many things, also the re-centralization of technology that's going on now, so that bad actors combined with human nature, combined with astonishing powers to do things that are kind of awful, let's coalesce into something we really have to deal with. And it's economic, it's about certainly greed, it's about emotion, it's about politics, it's about basically who's going to be in control. We must deal with it. I want to ask everyone to understand, of course, that it's not just something called fake news. In fact, I beg you to avoid using that term because it's been taken over by people who just lie all the time. So think about the right words, and there are lots of different ones that describe this. And bad news here is that it's going to get worse for a while. At least in some areas, the ability of people now to make highly convincing videos of people saying and doing things that they absolutely did not say or do is going to be troubling. And more than that, these things are going to be tweaked and targeted to individuals and small communities. It's going to be a big problem we will have to work on. One of the responses to all of this has been people saying to Facebook, to Google, to Twitter, do something about this. And my question is, well, what exactly? Because what they're actually asking for is the technology companies, a few giant centralized entities, to become the editors of the internet. I don't want that. I want us to be editors. Yeah, I want to upgrade supply. For sure, we need better information. But I want more than that, or at least as much as that, to upgrade ourselves. And we have to do that. And this is the area where I've been working the last few years. We think that news literacy is one of the terms for it. I think news fluency is a better way to put it. But whatever the terminology, we have to bring principles to bear for people who are consumers of media, which is everyone in this room all the time and others. And these are normal, understandable principles that start with being skeptical, but also challenging assumptions. And for creators, which we all are increasingly part of the time, and certainly for journalists and people doing credible information, these are principles they have to do. In the last one, I said there was transparency, which has not been a journalistic principle. It needs to be. I think it's incumbent on me, since I'm asking people to do it, to be transparent myself, talk about when I get faked out, which does happen, and it's embarrassing as hell, but I have to tell people. Who's responsible for this? I think basically a lot of people, including educators. I'm working in the education space on doing this. But it isn't scaling well at education because there's individual classrooms. Even a MOOC, a massive course, only reaches a few thousand people. Media organizations can help make it scale. Journalists, advertising, entertainment, we should work with them, and we are. And of course, what defines scale today is the tech industry. We need to work together on it. So the lab I'm running at Arizona State is working in several areas, including working with journalism organizations and on several parts of the country to try and get these things going. I'm asking the technology companies, and I had a meeting with one of them yesterday, about helping users be their own editors instead of them deciding what will be in the feed. And these are some of the ways that I hope we can do it. But we need tools. We need better tools, far better tools, than the ones that they're offering us at the platform level. I'm getting a lot of resistance to this, as you would expect if you know how they work and if you know how they make money. But I think that this is going to be incredibly useful to them if, in fact, they are serious when they say, no, we don't want to be the arbiters of truth. No, we don't want to be the editors of the internet. They have to help us do it. This is going to be a big part of the work we all need to do. The area where supply and demand coincide is sharing. And this has created all kinds of interesting opportunities and problems. The promiscuous sharing of stupidity and lies is a big thing. And sometimes it leads to what we call the grandmother problem. A student said about a year ago in a conversation, I called out my grandmother on Facebook for sharing something that was just not true, and she unfriended me. We have to work on that one too. Let's work together. I need your help too, so please let's try and help make the demand side as important as the supply. Thank you.